Hey, what's up guys? Best and West here, and today I'm going to be going over how I did in my latest Kingdom Cup tournament. And I didn't do as well as I wanted to, but that kind of comes with the territory, right? It wouldn't be as interesting if you always won, or maybe it would be. Either way, I didn't do as well as I wanted. I ended up placing third place, tied for third place in a tournament of about 19 people. I decided to go down south to Mountain View and participate in their tournament. It was outside at a park and I forgot my dead cat. So sorry about the audio. It's a little fuzzy in some parts, so please forgive me. I'll try to remember to bring my dead cat microphone muffler thing next time if the tournament's outside. It was really windy, and so I apologize for that. Hopefully you can watch the video footage from my tournament and learn some things, and hopefully you guys can do better in your tournaments. But let's go. Before we get into the actual tournament footage, I wanted to go over my team. I am using a Bastiodon, a Lucario, an Ice Shard Lapras, a Blaziken, an Ulterior, and a Hex Alolan Marowak. I'll go into why I chose this team in another video if there's interest. There is definitely some variety to the 6 Pokemon that different people brought into their teams, but the majority of the teams will have the Ball core, and Ball stands for Bastiodon, Altaria, Lapras, and Lucario. Those are the most important Pokemon, or the Pokemon that make up the meta. Those 4 Pokemon pretty much are standard in almost every team. If you don't have a certain Pokemon, then you would have to replace it with another one. For example, Steelix for Bastiodon. But that's my team. Keep that in mind while you're watching the rest of this video. Alright, let's go. I wanted to give a big shout out to these people that helped trade me for these Pokemon that I needed for this cup. Now, for this particular tournament, I did not use the Lapras that you see here. Buckwhip hooked it up with his Water Gun Ice Beam Lapras. Cheesymon helped me with a Riolu that I ended up not using, but I still really appreciate his help. I also got this Bastiodon from Marsha Steele. He traded me a shield on it, ended up turning lucky, so that was the one I ended up using. And Vrail hooked it up with a Riolu as well. So those were the Pokemon that I ended up getting, and I just wanted to give them a shout out. They deserve it. They helped me acquire these Pokemon. So shout out to you guys. Now on to the video. Okay, so we're here at Pioneer Park in Mountain View. Looks like there's a decent group grouped up over there. About 20 people signed up, so decent sized group. Let's see how I do. Okay, so it looks like they're checking everyone in, and maybe 18 people? I'm not sure. Looks like a little less than what I was expecting, like what we were expecting, I guess. One person opted out. We'll see how this tournament goes. Friend Tim is here, team. I've been practicing a lot with him, so I hope I don't get matched up with him, but at the same time, you never know. I got matched up against him at another tournament that I didn't post, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I do well. Hopefully I can win this tournament. It's my first ranked tournament, so it's gonna matter a lot to me. I might be able to participate in a couple more, but we'll see. We're about to get started. Okay, so we got matched up with our first opponent. It's a very familiar person, Kanako. We faced him in the San Francisco tournament at the Tempest Cup, but we got matched up right now. We're about to go in, so it's kind of sad that I'm facing someone that's a very formidable opponent at the beginning, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so like I just mentioned, we are facing Kanako, and if you look at his team and you look at my team, do you guys notice something interesting? We have the same team. What do you do when you have the same team as your opponent? I decided that I'm going to go with a lineup that I've had success in against some of my battle partners, and that is Lucario,
Lapras, and Blaziken. So the theory behind this lineup is that once I get rid of the Lucario counter, I can go ahead and defeat the rest of his Pokemon with Lucario. Now, this doesn't always work, because if the lead is bad, or if they shield correctly, or if I shield incorrectly, a bunch of different things can happen, right? But that's the theory behind using this, and I got this from Elite Four TV. He's been one of my battle partners, Landon from Elite Four TV. He's helped me come up with some of these strategies, but that's the strategy I'm going with, and we'll see how it goes. So going into this first match against Kanako, I'm going to lead off with Lucario. He leads off with Ulterior. This is generally a bad matchup for Lucario. So I'm going to try to charge up for the Shadow Ball and at least make him think what I'm going to do. Like, it's not obvious that it's Shadow Ball or Power Up Punch. So I go ahead and get this Shadow Ball off, and I go ahead and switch into my Ice Shard Lapras. Now this is a positive matchup for me. He charges his Ulterior a little bit more. I'm going to get this Surf off before he can before him, because I charge energy faster than him. He has a Water Gun Lapras, so in this pure mirror match, he's going to win. But I had some energy stored up, so we'll see how this goes. I get my second Surf off. He decides not to block that, and he's hitting me much harder with those Water Guns, but I'm going to get Surf off faster than him. I believe he had charge move priority here. That's why he got that Surf off before me. But I'm going to get this Surf off right here. Now, in hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have hit that Surf as hard, or maybe I should have not used this Surf, because then when I bring out my next Pokemon, I could have some more energy gain if I could hit this Lapras with two fast moves. But anyways, he gets this Surf off, and my Lucario just takes it. I go ahead and knock out his Lapras because Lucario had very little health from that matchup against Ulterior anyways, but he brings in Blaziken, knocks out my Lucario with one counter, and he's going to get this charge move, and at this point, I pretty much know he took this round. I knock out his Blaziken, but he has Ulterior and one shield, which he's going to use right here. And my Blaziken goes down. So that's the first.
All right, good game. So that was round one. I ended up losing that one. I had a bad first matchup. Also had a bad outcome on that first shield. We'll see how this next one goes. I know we have the same exact team, so we're well, not the same exact team, but we have very similar teams. See how this next round, the next battle goes. It could go either way.
So for this second battle against Kanako, I decided to switch it up. So you know how I tried to take out his Lucario counters by using two anti-Lucarios, but this time I decided to use two anti-Lucarios so that my Bastiodon can sweep his team. Bastiodon does have the strength and the ability to sweep teams, so if I can get rid of Lucario and Blaziken, then I can sweep his team. Now, if he brings in both Lucario and Blaziken, then I can't necessarily sweep his team, but at the same time, I have two counters for two fighting Pokemon. So that's the idea behind it. Again, Blandon from Elite Four TV helped kind of teach me this strategy, and it worked for him when he was battling me, so I figured I'd try to give it a go myself. I'll put a link to his channel in the description, but let's see how it works out this time. Okay, so for this battle, I lead off with Ulterior. I bring in Bastiodon, and I bring in Alolan Marowak. So the idea again is to try to get rid of his Lucario, and then I can bring in Bastiodon to sweep the rest of his team. So Ulterior versus Lucario, this is a good matchup for me. I decided not to shield that because I counted his moves and I knew it was going to be a power-up punch. He goes ahead and shields that sky attack. He switches out his Lucario and brings in Lapras, Water Gun Lapras. So Altaria resists water, so if I count his moves correctly, he will not be able to get this Ice Beam off on me. So I counted his moves, and I'm pretty sure it was going to be a Surf, and it is a Surf. So it's 14 Water Guns to a Surf, and I believe it's 21 turns to a Ice Beam. So I send out Bastiodon, so my moves are going to be dealing super effective damage to his Lapras. Now, the only thing is, I normally would bring in a Alolan, like a Blaziken or something, but Blaziken is obviously weak to water. He sends out his Lucario. I go ahead and not block that. I send out my Alolan Marowak. He gets another charge move off, a power-up punch. I shielded that, not knowing if it was going to be a Shadow Ball or not. I go ahead and use Bone Club. He lets that faint. I have a little bit of energy built up. He sends out Altaria. I go ahead and get this Shadow Ball off. He has no more shields, I believe. So all you can do is just eat that Shadow Ball. He's going to get a Sky Attack off. I have no more shields, but I do have Bastiodon in the back. So this will be a win for me. We're just going to finish this off. Might take a little bit more time, but surely Bastiodon should be able to take out this Altaria.
Good game. So that was the second battle. I came out on top that one. So far, whoever has the winning lead has won, and I think in this cup it's really important to get that lead. There is an opportunity to kind of come back from that, but it's pretty difficult from my experiences. But we'll see how this last battle goes. Whoever wins this wins the match, wins the round.
So similar to the previous battles, I decided to go with trying to knock out something and hoping that either my Bastiodon or my Lucario can sweep the rest of his team. So I believe with this battle, I lead off with Alolan Marowak, and I also bring in Altaria and my Bastiodon. Like I mentioned, if I can get his Lucario or Blaziken out of the way, then my Bastiodon can pretty much beat almost everything else on his team. Not sure if it'll be able to sweep, but we'll see how it goes. You'll see what ends up happening. Hopping right into the battle, Kanako versus me, and whoever wins this round, like I mentioned, will win. Whoever will win this battle will win this round. So I lead off with Alolan Marowak. He leads off with Lucario. So this is a positive matchup. I get a couple hexes off, and he goes ahead and switches to Lapras, Water Gun Lapras, and I switch out to Altaria. So I'm counting his moves, and if I counted correctly, it was going to be a Surf. So you see me shake my head, and that's because I miscounted. And pretty much once that happened, I knew that I had lost the round. There was pretty much no way for me to recover from that. I go ahead and get the Stone Edge off. He decides to block that because his Lapras is doing super effective damage to my Bastiodon. He gets another Surf off. I go ahead and shield this one. Yeah, at this point, I'm at a huge disadvantage, and I'm just trying to do as much damage as I can, but unfortunately I wasn't able to get to that Stone Edge. I send out Alolan Marowak, which is a positive matchup in this case. I dealt super effective damage right there. He ended up getting this charge move off, and I end up taking it. and that's because I knew I needed to save that shield for his Lucario. And he had one more shield. So unfortunately for me, this one just didn't end the way I wanted it to. I think I had the right lineup to defeat his team, but yeah, it just didn't work out.
GG, man. You got me this time. Yeah, that I miscounted. So you got me. I think if I had gotten that, I think I could have won.
Yeah, I mean, it all came down to that one shield.
Yeah, GG. Man. Oh, darn. All right, so I ended up losing that one. That mistake really cost me that time. Yeah, I think I just, the adrenaline was pumping too high for me, and I miscounted, but it's okay. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm here with Kweku 9. He won his first match, and as you guys just saw, I lost my first round. But we still have a lot of the tournament to go, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, let's do
Okay,
this.
so in this second round against Kweku 9, I look at his team and I see a Steelix and a Melmetal. He also has a Lapras, a Lucario, a Charizard, and an Ulterior. Now, what I see is a big weakness to fighting type Pokemon. So Steelix, Melmetal, Lapras, and Lucario can all go down to a fighting type Pokemon. Lucario, obviously, it would be a mirror match, but at the same time, it's like a soft counter to Lucario. But the other four are like positive matchups, right? Now, he does have a Charizard, and he has an Ulterior. So I figured that I can take out those two Pokemon with my own Ulterior. So with that being said, I also have one more spot, and I decided to bring in a Bastiodon because the Charizard and Ulterior can do big damage against my Lucario. So I want to be able to make sure that I take out one or two, both those Pokemon. So let's see how I do. To lead it off, I start with Ulterior against his Water Gun Lapras. So if I count his moves correctly, it takes 14 Water Guns to get to a Surf and 21 Water Guns to get to an Ice Beam. So as long as I block the Ice Beam, then I should be good. He charges up pretty hard and uses his Surf. Now I had to block that because Ice Beam would definitely knock me out. So he goes ahead and uses another charge move, and I knew at this point it was going to be Surf. So I go ahead and just farm energy on his Lapras and wait for the next Pokemon. I go ahead and use a Sky Attack as soon as he brought out his own Ulterior, and I tried to switch right there, and it didn't work, but that's okay. My Ulterior falls, and I bring out Bastiodon. Now, he's going to switch, but I'm going to switch right after that to my own Lucario. I'm going to go ahead and block this power-up punch, and I'm trying to knock out his Lucario with my Lucario. That's because I only have Bastiodon left. If I don't get his Lucario, then I would have been in a bad position. So he sends out Ulterior back out, and I send out my Bastiodon. His Ulterior is very low on health. He gets a Sky Attack off, but it's too little too late. I'll finish off with fast moves. Little lag, but I'll finish off with fast moves, and that's it.
Okay, so that was the first battle. I ended up pulling it off. Yeah, it was a pretty good match. I think he just got caught in some bad matchups.
Yeah.
And I was able to pull it off. But let's go to battle 2.
For the second battle, I decided to kind of switch it up. So what I want to do is I want to be able to knock out most of his anti-Ulteriors. So that would mean Steelix, Melmetal, and Lapras. So what I decided to do was bring in both a Lucario and a Blaziken. Now, Lucario can take out Steelix, Melmetal, Lapras, and can go even with Lucario. Blaziken can take out Steelix, Melmetal with a shield, Lucario, and can do a good amount of damage to Lapras as well, especially since it's Water Gun. Because it's Water Gun, my Ulterior can deal a good amount of damage to his Lapras. So let's see how we do. Getting into the battle, I lead off with Lucario. He leads off with Charizard. Terrible matchup. I have to switch as soon as possible. I get out of there and send in Ulterior. So Ulterior versus Charizard. He goes ahead and gets his Dragon Claw off. I decide not to shield it just because I want to preserve those shields for both Blaziken and Lucario. Both of them need shields to really do damage. So I go ahead and get that Sky Attack off, and he blocks it. He sends out Steelix. And so I am switch locked at this point, so I have to go ahead and fight this. But it's not a terrible matchup for me. He will win. And I go ahead and send out Lucario. So Lucario, he's switch locked right now. So he's going to get this charge move off. And if it was Earthquake, it would have knocked me out. So I had to block it. He gets another charge move off. And I decide to shield this one because it was an Earthquake. So that was a smart shield by me. I have a Power Up Punch charged up. I go ahead and use Power Up Punch, which is a bad move in this case, but his Charizard is low enough where Power Up Punch knocked him out. I was hoping that he was going to use a shield, but he didn't, and it knocked out his Charizard. Now he sends out his own Lucario. My Lucario is powered up a bit, and I have a Blaziken in the back, so this is a home run for me. He's going to go ahead and use his Power Up Punch. Not going to knock me out, and that's it.
GG, good game. So I ended up pulling that one off. I think my Pokemon choices kind of threw him off a little bit, maybe just a little bit. But yeah, it was good battles. It came pretty close, I think. Closer than it might have looked in the footage. But yeah, good games. Good luck with the rest of the tournament.
Alright guys, that's it for part 1 of this video. I will be uploading part 2 sometime later this week. Hopefully I can get around to editing it. But thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like this video. That's pretty much it guys. Best and West. I'll catch you guys later.